You know, I'd be remiss while I'm talking about this rose and not show you a picture or two of whose rose this was originally. This is my grandmother, and it's amazing to me to look at some of these old pictures, and you can imagine what the world was like before World War II, and just little things like that. To say that they didn't have a lot, especially in these years, is an understatement. They lived in the Appalachians and they worked for everything they had, and they raised everything they had. And one of the constants with her was flowers. She had flowers everywhere, and she was amazing at being able to grow them. She propagated all of them. They didn't have stores that they could go. I'm sure they got some seeds every once in a while, but most of the plants and the flowers and the ornamental things that they had were shared with each other. There were other people in the area where they lived in, a narrow band, just miles. And they all shared plants with one another. If somebody had a flower that was particularly, nice, they would share the seeds or cuttings or rootings, or all these people knew everything there is to know about how to propagate plants. And I'm trying to learn that. I learned a lot from them, but, when that was going on, I was a kid too. And, kind of, just a dumb kid. I didn't pay attention to everything that was going on. But what little bit I did learn, I want to share, and I kind of want to celebrate my grandma because at least part of my love of plants and love of propagating plants stems from her. So I hope you enjoy this. Maybe you learn something. Maybe you file it away in your memory sometime, and you can figure out when you want to do things like this. But we'll celebrate her, and I'll show you how we propagated her plants. Hey, meanwhile in Broomtown, I'm cutting roses. It's that time of the year, and I want to propagate some of this rose here. This rose is old. This rose is from my grandmother's, and this rose is probably 100. I know it's 100 years old. It's probably more than that. I went over to their home place about 5 years ago and got it and rooted it and planted it. So let's look at this big climbing rose. All right, as far as picking the right, let's call these tendrils, because it is like an octopus, to propagate. These are too small. They're hard to do. So there's usually there's no loss of available wood to cut. Canes. I don't know what the words are, but you get something about that big, and that makes good stock to root with. And we'll take it over to the table, and I'll show you how I cut that up and how I root it. Here we've got the piece that I cut off that I want to root, and I cut it at an angle on the earth side. I don't know the technical term for that, but that's the bottom and this is the top, and the way, because it'd be easy to get it mixed up. So I always cut the side that I want to root at an angle, so I know. And I just come up usually like 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 of those little nodes, leaves, buds, whatever you want to call that, and I cut it. And then here I make sure that the next one's at an angle so I can lay it down and I don't have to remember. But that's a pretty good sized little cane to root. I cut the bottom nodes off, maybe 3, 1, 2, 3. And then on this got foliage left, that's a lot to keep going for a stick with no roots. So I usually come in here and cut the 3 leaves off on a rose and leave the 2. That lets it get some photosynthesis, some sugar, but it doesn't tax it. And then the other thing that I've found works, and there's probably rose people that are experts, but I always split that stem so I can get root hormone fully covered there. And it's easy. I just take that. I like this stuff, this Clonex. It's a liquid. I've used a powder. Truth of the matter is, these roses root so well that you might not have to do any. But I dip it in the liquid, let it drip off a little bit, and that's what you ended up with. That's all that hormone all over it. And then I just take literally and push them in the dirt, till they get a little firm. And that's it. I already pre-done some of those, obviously, before, and I forgot to film it so you could see it. But I usually do 10 or so of these a year. People want them. People in the family have asked for them. So I'll root them up, and then I just give them away. This rose is prolific. It blooms, and it blooms, but it is also, if you don't stay on top of it, it's invasive. If kudzu was a rose, this is what it is. I like it because it's been in the family forever. You can go back and look at pictures from the 20s and the teens all the way to the 60s and the 70s. And the constant is one of these roses are in the background. So for sentimental reasons, I do grow this one. And that's how I propagate it. Have fun. If anybody made it this far, we got these cool stickers for Meanwhile in Broomtown. And if you want one, comment it. Tell me you want them, and we'll figure out how to do it. They're not for sale. It's not all about that. It's just, if you want a sticker, let me know, and I'll send you a sticker. Thanks. Hey, thanks for watching, and if you would, take a second to hit the subscribe button for us. It helps us a lot. I appreciate it.